center, a junior, Caleb Bayer. At guard, Connor Keogh. An offensive tackle, sophomore Johnny Conway. And a kicker, a senior, Tyler Huddle. The associate head coach is Paul Mahalik. Assistant coaches Wade Lytle, Jeremy Gazella, Quentin Carter, Bert Stewart, Austin Brown, Joshua Cook, Ryan Dawson, Rob Schoenfeld, Dave Bowden, Campbell Miller, and Tyrone Christian. Head coach of the Tigers, Trinity Urban.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Trinity University and San Antonio, Texas, for what promises to be a pretty good matchup here between the Trinity University Tigers and the University of the South, the Sewanee Tigers, coming in for a big conference matchup here today. Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb Breed. It is awesome to be here, joined, of course, by Andrew Thomas. And Andrew, this is a beautiful day for what promises to be a pretty big football game.
Yes, it is. Very beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky, great conditions, and I'm excited to get it going.
Trinity fell in their conference opener at center, 12-24, which happened in between the last time that you saw them. That last time being a 16-10 victory over the Washington and Lee Generals in a game that was really kind of closer on paper than it was on the field. The Trinity defense really dominated that entire game, hoping to see a little bit more of that. But this is a very big conference game. Everybody going to be giving their best. Nothing is going to be left on the table here, and everything is going to be played for here in this one. As the kicker gets ready, the line is up, and we are underway here for this crucial matchup in the SAA. Kick taken in there by, that looks to be one of the, I believe that's Jason Blue, one of the running backs, and that is bounced outside to about the 35-yard line there. A pretty good kick return there to open up this one.
Very good job there by the blockers, just to give him a little bit of lane and get him all the way up to where he is.
That kick was taken in by Jason Love, the 5'10" running back out of San Antonio. And now we're going to get our first looks here at this Trinity offense. Ryan back in the shotgun with two running backs to either side of him, as well as two receivers on either end. This is going to be a handoff to Winston Hutchinson going over to the left-hand side. Hutchinson already has good space, good blockers, and up to about midfield on the first play of the game.
Very good play calling there by the Trinity Tigers in order to give Hutchinson, a lot more room to run. And very unfortunate that ultimately a Sewanee player, I believe it was, tripped him up as he could have gone all the way.
Sewanee coming into this game with a 1-3 record, but that number is very deceiving. They've had a couple of very close games that honestly could have gone either way. This is a team that could be 3-1 as Back thinks about the throw. Now he's going to try and take off with it, and he's going to get brought down behind the line there. Trying to see who was in there. Believe that was Drew Rozier, the freshman defensive tackle who kind of reached in there with the grab. This is a very, very tough Sewanee team, which is top 5 in the nation in sacks per game, leads the conference in that category with 4.5 a game. As now three running backs out to the, three receivers out to the right-hand side for Back. It's going to be a handoff. Grigsby on the left-hand side. Grigsby has some space. Grigsby on the left-hand side. He breaks away. 20-15, runs over a man, and up to the 6-yard line. A huge run by legend Grigsby to start this one off.
Another great play by the Trinity Tigers, just to give Grigsby a lot of space. As you saw, he really calculated and took all he could.
Grigsby, one of the players who we got to talk to earlier on during the week in the preparation for this game. You mentioned that even though he's had a pretty good season so far, there's still a lot of room to improve. What a great run that was. This is going to be a run up the middle that is stuffed pretty much right at the line there. The running back, Winston Hutchinson, brought down by a whole host of Sewanee Tigers.
Sewanee Tigers were able to just come in, totally dominate the Trinity line and really get that crucial play there.
This is a defensive line in a 4-2-4 formation, or sorry, 4-2-5 formation for the Sewanee defense. They really focus a lot on their secondary, but this is a very tough defensive line. His back takes a snap, looks, fires over to the right-hand side, a bit too high, intended for Tyson Hancock.
Good, very good look there by Ryan Beck. You know, he had a receiver open down. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to connect on that one.
Hancock getting the start after quite a few injuries kind of hit this team hard last week against center. You'll notice it a lot more on the defense, but on the offensive side of the ball, Lamont Nickelberry not in for this game. He got injured on a kick return, and we're hoping to see him back sometime before the end of the year. His back takes a snap, looks, fires right-hand side, just out of reach there of, that's going to be Sebastian Trevino, but also there in the back of the end zone, B.J. Rainey was in there, and just like we've seen a lot so far, Trinity really struggling once they get into the red zone, and looks like it's going to be a field goal try here for Tyler Huddle.
There was some pressure there on Ryan Beck, and you know he threw to a ball that he was trying to get to a receiver under triple coverage. Almost connected on it. You know, it's a very promising sign so far.
Back so far this season, 4 touchdowns on the year. As now we're getting ready for the field goal attempt. Tyler Huddle, who won SAA Special Teams Player of the Week last week, nails this one through the uprights. He was perfect last week and is perfect this week to give Trinity the early 3-0 lead.
Huddle's had the opportunity, you know, to practice his field goals and extra points a lot this season so far.
And so Trinity has kind of had a little bit of struggles with finishing offensive drives. Third downs as well as red zone attempts have definitely not been the best for them so far this season. They're towards the bottom of the conference in the third down conversion ranking. In terms of their red zone offense, they are towards the top. They're actually at the top of the conference and also towards the top of the NCAA as well, ranked 19th, but the majority of those have been field goals and not touchdowns. Trinity hoping to kind of change that throughout the course of this season. And so now going to be returning this kick here for Sewanee is going to be Dawson White and A.J. McLemore. McLemore on the far right and White on the far left. As Huddle kicks this one away, aiming towards the left-hand side. It takes a bounce and ends up bouncing out of bounds just at that's going to be about the half-yard line there. And so Sewanee going to get great field position to start this one off. Just an uncharacteristic mistake there by Tyler Huddle. We've seen a lot of kicks angled towards the sidelines this year. A new tactic that teams are trying out, always trying to improve. But now we're going to get a look here at this Sewanee offense being led out here by the sophomore quarterback Jacorin Thomas out of Augusta, Georgia. And so, Andrew, what do you expect to be seeing out of Sewanee here as we start this drive?
I expect to be seeing, you know, a lot of the same things we saw in the Trinity Tigers here early on. I expect to see a lot of runs. Maybe a couple passes here and there, but, you know, definitely just driving down the field.
Thomas back in the shotgun here. 3 receivers to his left. Fakes the handoff. He's going to try and run with it himself, and he's going to maybe get a yard there. As Cade Rabson with the big wrap-up. He was big in the win over Washington and Lee, and he was big there on that stop, able to get the wrap-up and keep Sewanee to a gain of only 2.
As you saw there, the Sewanee offensive line just wasn't able to hold him back and give Jacorin Thomas a big enough lane to run there.
Cade Rapson leading the team in tackles so far this season. Had 12 in the loss against center. Thomas takes the snap. He's going to run out to his right-hand side, and Cade Rapson lays down the boom. A huge hit there right at the 40-yard line to make this a 3rd down and 5. What a hit!
Really big hit there by Cade Rapson. You know, great job by him and the entire Trinity defense. As you can see here in the replay, boom, just brings him down on the ground hard.
That is a perfect form tackle there, exactly like you draw it up. And now we'll see what this Sewanee offense is able to do here on 3rd down. They're converting only about a third of their 3rd downs. Flag is up, might be a free play as this one is swallowed up at the line. Jaden Powell with the big tackle at the 40-yard line, but we will see what the flag is. Might be a defensive flag here. As we'll see what the officials go to here. It is going to be on the offense, actually, so the penalty will be declined. And it looks like we are going to be seeing a Sewanee punt as the offense comes off the field.
It is 4th down.
And so, Andrew, last time we got to see these Trinity Tigers, the name of the game is, or was, defense. Do you think that that's going to be continuing here today?
I believe what we've seen so far, yes, it is. We were able to, shut down Sewanee Tigers right there, and I think that's something that's going to be happening all day.
This punt is away, going to be taken in by Will Taylor. Taylor gets this one at about the 15-yard line, breaks free of one tackle before finally getting dragged down at about the 28, 29-yard line to set Trinity up with good starting field position. This is a pretty big game for both of these teams. Trinity coming into this game with a 2-2 record. 0-1 in conference play after the loss to center. Sewanee also 0-1 as they lost not last week. They had their bye week last week, but they lost on September 28th to Millsaps 21-31. Back in the shotgun, looks like it's Hutchison over to his left. Takes a snap, 3-step drop, looking, fires over the middle, complete to Will Taylor on the short catch. Good for the gain of about 4.
Good look there by Ryan Back, to connect on that short play.
Now to the game is going to be, that's going to be Zay Huerta, one of the two-way players for this Trinity team, listed as a linebacker, but has gotten a lot of looks as a running back. And a very versatile Trinity team as B.J. Rainey goes into motion. Back takes a snap, fakes a handoff to Huerta. The throw over to Rainey on the screen pass, and he's going to fight forward. Looks like they might give him the first down there. It's going to be close, but I think they're going to say that he stepped out about a yard to go.
Good screen play there by the Trinity Tigers. Unfortunately, no blockers there on the left side to give him a little more room to run.
That's one of the big issues with the wide receiver screen. You don't really have a lot of people over on that side, so you really got to rely on the shiftiness more than anything else. Back in the gun, the running back is over to his right-hand side here on the 3rd and 1. It's going to be a handoff run up the middle, and looks like they aren't going to get there. Stuffed at the line was the running back, and I believe that's going to set up 4th and 1 here, as now the punt team is going to come on. A very close 4th down and inches situation. Would you try and go for it here, maybe be a little bit aggressive?
I would not try to go for it here, no. If you miss it, the Sewanee Tigers would be in very good position.
And so Huddle going to be both kicking and punting here today. Last week, he punted 3 times for a 31-yard average. Also had a touchback. And they did go for it. Looks like they're going to say that Sewanee might have gotten the stop.
Sewanee takes over on the 35.
So a disaster there for Trinity. They Trinity. They tried the fake. It did not work. And that's going to put the defense with their backs against the wall here, starting this drive from the Trinity 35-yard line.
Very interesting play calling there by the Trinity offense to try to go for it there. Unfortunately, it did not work out.
And that's the risk that you have to take sometimes in these situations. And now we're going to see Corin Thomas with a very good starting field position here. This one is dumped off. And looks like a fight for the ball after the play. Did the ball come loose? I'm not entirely sure. Anthony Njoku coming up with it after the play, but I think that they're going to say that it's going to remain Sewanee ball.
Robson looks to be a little upset about that call.
Going to have to get a replay here to see exactly what happened, but I'm going to try and figure it out here. As now Sewanee lines up for 2nd down and 8 from the Trinity 33. Fakes the handoff, having to scramble away from pressure. Nwobodo gonna try and bring him down. Johnny Nwobodo gonna get the sack behind the line. The senior out of Missouri City, Texas, coming in. He leads the team in terms of sacks this season. He extends that lead here with a big 2nd down stop.
You're going to see here in the replay, Corin Thomas, having to scramble out, do the pressure, and, John Nwobodo was just able to get in there and bring him down.
Thomas, one of the faster players on this Sewanee team. He really loves to scramble out of the pocket, use some kind of improv do some kind of improv plays sometimes, but it didn't work out there as Thomas takes a snap. Pressure coming again. Pressure in his face. Brought down hard behind the line. Cade Rabson coming in alongside, I believe that's Max Shillstone with the big stop. And the Trinity defense shows its teeth there as Shillstone slow to get up after the play. Can see it there. Rabson did a good job stopping him. Shillstone with the takedown.
Very good recovery there by the Trinity defense, to make up for that failed 4th and 1 conversion attempt.
And so this is going to be 4th down and a mile. Looks to be about 4th and 19. This ball may as well be getting snapped all the way down in downtown for as far away from the 1st down line as it is. Good snap, good hold. Punt is away. And Taylor going to let this one bounce. It takes a friendly Trinity bounce and into the Trinity end zone for the touchback. So Trinity unable to get anything going there on the 4-and-out last drive. Do you think they're going to be a little bit more aggressive this drive?
I think due to the big defensive stops, the Trinity offense should do a lot more runs and just drive it down the field, run out the clock a little bit.
Trinity, in terms of their clock management, has been very good this season. Actually has more than half of the time of possession in their games, averaging about 32, 31 minutes, as this one is bounced outside by legend Grigsby. Grigsby now cuts back inside and up to the 28-yard line. And that'll be a great gain there on the first play of the drive to make a 2nd down and 2.
Good run there by Grigsby. He had some blockers and he was able to make some cuts and get a couple extra yards out of there.
Already a lot of time is drained away from this first quarter. It's been a very quick start to this one here on a beautiful day for some football here in San Antonio. Back in the shotgun. 2 claps, then takes a snap, 3-step drop, fires out to Johnny Milo, who slips a tackle, still going up across the 1st down line and now up to almost the 40-yard line on a big, big play there. And Milo showing off some of that shiftiness there that we saw last time out against Washington and Lee for the big game.
You're going to see here in the replay, Milo barely slips that tackle, stumbling and gets brought down, but still a very good play there.
And so back in the gun, that's going to be Hutcherson now to his right-hand side. 2 receivers on either end. takes a snap, two-step drop, looks pressure coming, pocket collapsing. He's going to scramble out of it, throws over, caught by Will Taylor for close to a first down. Think they might give it to him.
Very good play there by Ryan Beck, just to be able to get out there, escape that pressure, and barely get that pass off. Very good play.
Will Taylor and Ryan Beck, two players who have a lot of confidence, a lot of trust in each other, according to the interview that I got to have with them earlier this week. This is going to be a handoff to Hutchison. Hutchison on the left-hand side. Hutchison has space. Hutchison, he breaks away. It's going to be a foot race, and we have a late flag coming in. As looks like Hutchison stepped out of bounds. This one might be coming back. Be a killer if it is. And I think they are going to be calling holding here.
Unfortunate mistake there.
You can see there on the replay. I believe that was Caleb Bayer, the center, who got tangled up with one of the Sewanee defenders. And it is going to be a holding call that pushes Trinity all the way back now to the 43-yard line. And it's going to set up second down and 5. And so here we go. I'm going to try this again. Back in the shotgun, running back to his left. 3 receivers on the right-hand side. Back on the read option. He takes off with it himself and up to midfield and good for a first down. Don't see that too often. Ryan Beck really doesn't run as much as we've seen in the past from some other teams, and maybe kind of caught the Sewanee defenders on their heels a little bit.
So you can see in this replay, Beck did catch him off ground. They were all looking right while he was running left, and he was able to get that big play there.
The running back there able to fool everybody was Jackson Williams. But now Rainey going into motion from the left-hand side. Back takes a 5-step drop. He looks, steps up in the pocket, throws over to the left-hand side, and just a bit too low there. Intended for Alex Teal, the 5th-year tight end out of Georgetown.
So far, there's been a lot of pressure on Ryan Beck. He's had to scramble out. He's had to make big plays. He's had to run a little bit.
Back last week against center, 24 of 49, 246 on the yardage numbers there, and did have a passing touchdown. The only touchdown of Trinity's day, as they had a touchdown and 2 field goals in that 12 points. Fakes the handoff. This one is thrown over to Will Taylor, who's just unable to haul it in there off the hands. A little bit off target, but sets up third down and long here on the 3rd and 10.
A little bit of a high snap there to Ryan Beck. Might have thrown him off a little bit on that pass.
Trinity's offense was really kind of lacking, especially in the second half against Washington and Lee. Against Belhaven, they were incredibly strong, however, scoring 55 points, 34 points in that first quarter of that game. We'll see which version of the Trinity offense we get here today. Back takes a 5-step drop. He looks, fires left-hand side. This one is complete and still running with it on the right-hand side. Still going. Touchdown, Trinity Tigers. Alejandro Taveras with the big touchdown strike and a 50-yard score for the Trinity Tigers.
What a play there by Ryan Beck. As you can see here on that replay. Looks, fires. I believe that was number 8 on the Sewanee Tigers. Almost had an interception there, but he was able to get all the way up, and good blocking there. Overall, great play.
Very, very close, threading the needle there, and Alejandro Taveras, the 6'0", 193-pound running back out of San Antonio, Texas, with a massive, massive play there. We saw him a little bit last week against center. He had 3 catches for 59 yards. And didn't play at all last year, but in his senior year with Johnson High School, had 12 receiving touchdowns, and now he gets the first of not only his season, but the first of his Trinity career with the big 50-yard strike to give Trinity a now 10-0 lead.
So you can see here on your screen so far, Trinity Tigers just been dominating this game.
Doing great in terms of passing, leading the time of possession as well. And it's something that we saw against Washington and Lee, of course, during that big matchup. The Trinity defense really stepping up, giving the team a good field position to start drives. But also, finally, the Trinity offense now starting to kind of maybe come alive a little bit. It's been kind of a slow start for them with some inconsistency, but that was a great, great explosive play there, something that we haven't seen really all year. As now Huddle getting ready to kick this one away. Making sure that everybody is good before the run and the boot. This one is going to land right at the bottom of the G in the Tiger word mark in the end zone for the touchback. Huddle last week had a couple of touchbacks. Obviously, Trinity didn't do a lot of scoring, only 3 scores during that game, but did, of course, win SAA Player of the Week, going perfect on field goals. Was 10 of 15 on field goals last season, and almost perfect on extra points, 62 of 63 over the course of his 2023 season. And so now we're going to see this Sewanee offense once again. Thomas takes a snap, read option, and smothered behind the line. A massive hit laid down there. Jackson Berry coming up to celebrate first. I believe that Cade Ravson was also in there on the tackle. And I tell you what, this is a smothering defensive unit.
The Trinity Tiger defense so far has just been absolutely dominating the game.
This is a Sewanee Tigers team which hasn't won a game against Trinity in 26 straight tries. Last time that Sewanee won a game was back in 1992. Thomas takes a snap. He thinks about the pass. Now throws it. Almost taken away there. Lawrence Falke had it bounce off of his chest there as Thomas overthrew his intended target.
You're going to see here in the replay, barely there. Number 61, Buck Harden. Huge hit on it, Jackson Berry.
We do have a flag. Trying to see what it was. It came out after the ball hit the ground. I'm not sure if they're going to call... Not sure who they would call this one on. But you saw there on that second angle, just so close. And it's actually going to be an eligible man downfield. And so they'll redo second down.
Looks like the penalty was on number 61, Buck Harden there.
Yeah, Harden was pretty far up the line. The center out of Grant, Alabama with the mistake. Harden, a junior, who has played all 4 games for Sewanee so far this season, has got a hawk flying over the stadium at the moment. Got a lot of them out here in the San Antonio area. They like to hang around on lower campus a lot. As Thomas takes a snap, read option, going to try and take off with it, and going to get stuffed at the line. Johnny Nwobodo there with the big stop alongside, that's going to be Jackson Priestmeyer, the freshman out of Sugar Land, Texas, and straight Jesuit High School.
So far today, the Sewanee Tigers have really been struggling to build like a gap for Jacorin Thomas or the running backs to really get big room.
And so now we're going to get to see the Trinity offense coming back up as soon as we get this punt away here. And it is very good to see that the Trinity defense is still staying strong, as this punt is a booming kick spiraling through the air, taken in by Will Taylor. and now cuts back inside, breaking one tackle, breaking two, breaking three, and still going. Will Taylor up to the 38-yard line on the big return there. Wasn't big in terms of yardage, but man, he slipped probably about 5 or 6 tacklers right there.
Yes, he did. Very good play there by Will Taylor, able to cut in and out and add a few extra yards there.
And so now so now we're going to get a look not only at this Trinity offense, but also this Sewanee defense. And 2 important players on the Sewanee defense to note. As back in the gun, takes a snap. He's going to fake the handoff and now going to roll out to his left-hand side. Caught on the left-hand side. That is a great gain there, up for the first down by Sebastian Trevino, the junior out of China Spring.
Very good play there by Ryan Beck, able to roll out, sort of fake off the defense a little bit and get a big chunk play there.
Trevino, a 3-sport athlete in high school there, getting a little bit more looks this season. But 2 of the important players to note on this Sewanee defense, Ryland as well as Kaysen Holder, 2 brothers out of McMinnville, Tennessee. Back, takes a snap, doesn't drop back, pressure coming, and pressure brings him down. A big sack there by Max Grumbles, who gets his first full sack of the season, had half a sack against Millsaps, and he will get the stop there for a loss of about 3 or 4 yards to make this a very long second, and it's going to be second and about 13.
Trinity Tigers seem to just be running out the clock here.
And so that will be the end here of the first quarter. Trinity leading 10-0 over the Sewanee Tigers. And the Sewanee Tigers haven't had the best of seasons in the past, most recently, but they are a pretty big team in terms of history. Not just in D3, but also in D1. You see right there the 1899 Sewanee Tigers, a team which played in the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the SIAA. That conference doesn't sound familiar to you. You might recognize a few of the teams that were in it, as it was one of the sort of predecessors to the modern-day SEC. Vanderbilt, Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Texas, Georgia, Clemson, all of the big powerhouse teams in college football today. They got to play against them back in 1899 and went undefeated. But not only that, you can see there November 9th to November 14th, 5 games in 6 days, and they won all of them in a complete shutout. It's absolutely incredible, especially whenever you consider they didn't have planes. They had to take train rides to all these games. And this was a very physical style of play back then, and only 18 players on that team. That is the entire team photo right there for Sewanee, and just an incredible accomplishment here as they celebrate the 125th anniversary of that legendary season. It's going to be a handoff. Legend Grigsby, who has a big goal, Winston Hutchinson up the middle, as that was a huge run there for the running back up to the 25-yard line.
Trinity Tiger line able to make a huge gap there and really allow him to run and get all the yards that he did.
Absolutely massive play there. Is now we have whistles blowing for a stoppage. Not entirely sure what it's for here, as now they're signaling for the clock to get moving. Looks like they just had to get everybody into position. Has now back in the gun, running backs on either side of them. This one's going to be a fake handoff to Grigsby, and caught by Taveras. Alejandro Taveras up to the 10-yard line there for a big Trinity first down. This is an offense that is moving right now.
Trinity Tigers been very successful on plays where there's a fake handoff to the running back, able to get huge chunk yards.
Trinity has really preferred to run the ball more, or well, they've been more successful with running the ball this season, and so it makes sense that Sewanee would be biting on the play action there. Back in the gun, 2 receivers on either side, same formation as the last play. It is going to be a handoff now to Johnny Milo. Milo on the left-hand side. Milo going for the end zone, and he is in for a touchdown. Johnny Milo, the junior out of the Woodlands, gets another on the year.
Very good play there. As you can see here in the replay, a lot of blockers, very little space, but ultimately got in there in the end.
And this one is going to be coming back. We've got holding here on Trinity. And unfortunate there, as it was a great play by Johnny Milo, just unable to punch it in. The score bug has disappeared from the broadcast because currently the scoreboard is incorrect. It's reading 0-0 on the scoreboard, and so we don't want to be giving you all inaccurate information.
For anyone who just tuned in, though, the Sewanee Tigers currently have 0 points, and the Trinity Tigers are currently at 10.
Trinity scored a big passing touchdown to Alejandro Taveras late in the first quarter, following a end zone trip that ended in a field goal by Tyler Huddle to start the game. Trinity started with a 3-0 lead and then got a big 50-yard touchdown to Taveras to make it a 10-0 ball game, as we are still waiting on the scoreboard here. A little bit of a break in the action, and while we have that break in the action, actually looks like the break in the action has concluded. Unsure what the break was because the scoreboard is still at 0-0. As this is going to be a handoff to Grigsby. Grigsby on the left-hand side. No one's going to touch him into the end zone. Touchdown, Trinity. They take a 16-0 lead.
Very big play there by the Trinity Tigers, able to, recompose themselves and get another touchdown. So you can see here in the replay, big blocking there, big gap, and he was able to just sprint all the way home.
The stoppage there was so that they could take a minute off of the clock. Looks like the scoreboard was not counting down the time correctly there. And so now we're going to see Tyler Huddle getting ready for the PAT. He's perfect on the season so far, hoping to continue that here. As Huddle lines up, good snap, good hold. Kick is up and kick is good to make it a 17-0 ball game.
So far today, this is the Trinity Tigers team that I think a lot of people were expecting to see all season, but it's finally takes shape right now.
And so Trinity with the 17-0 lead. They won the last game against Sewanee last season, 44-6. That one was on the road. And just one more thing about that 1899 Sewanee team. I was looking it up, and of course, like a silver anniversary, golden anniversary, things like that. I wanted to know what the name for a 125th anniversary was, and apparently it is quincentennial. So if you're ever going to a spelling bee, or if you're ever trying to host a spelling bee, that's a pretty good word to put in there. It's definitely not the easiest one to spell out or pronounce.
Not a very common word either.
And so now we're going to get to see Tyler Huddle getting ready to boot this one away. The dedicated kickoff man for the last 2 years for Trinity booms this one away. Looks like it's trailing towards the end zone, and this one goes over the letters in the end zone, lands right at the top of the T, on the second T of the Trinity word marks in the logo. And we'll get the drive started at the 25-yard line here for Sewanee. One more thing to note about that 2023 road trip for Trinity, whenever they went up to Sewanee, Coach Urban mentioned one of the big traditions up there is the Memorial Cross, a big memorial there for not only World War I veterans, but also veterans overall who served, and it's a very pretty feature up there in Sewanee, as Thomas is going to pitch this one out to the right-hand side and not going to get much of anything there. Cade Rabson with the big stop alongside Jackson Berry for a gain of maybe 2.
Trinity Tigers defense, been able to come up and smother any run the Sewanee Tigers have started.
Something that we saw a lot against Washington and Lee. They were averaging about 300 yards per game as the ball comes loose, and they're going to say it was incomplete. Great defense there. John Cole McAdams gets his 6th pass breakup of the season so far, leads the team in that category. And almost a disaster there for the Sewanee Tigers, as now they're set up with 3rd down and 8.
You're going to see here in the replay, number 85 in the Sewanee Tigers had it, but number 27, Cole McAdams, was able to just come in there and big hit on him.
That was the tight end Cooper Alford there, the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas, who had 43 yards in the loss against Millsaps. This is going to be a flag before the play gets underway. Looks like we're going to see a false start, which is going to push Sewanee back to a 3rd down and, what's that going to be, 13? And definitely not what they wanted here, as this defensive, or as this a 3rd down attempt is going to go from hard to even harder. This one is taken in there and up to about the 29-yard line, but nowhere near the 35 needed for the 1st down. And so with a 4th and 6 coming up, Sewanee going to be forced to punt it off once again.
Sewanee Tiger offense have been very slow to start today.
Jack Satterfield, the senior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, had 5 punts last week for an average of 45.6 yards. Did have 1 touchback, but also had 2 punts of over 50 yards against Millsaps, who have really kind of surprised a lot of people this year, I think. Satterfield takes this one, and we're going to get another whistle here. Might be seeing another false start.
Flag on the play.
It is going to be a false start on the offense, so we're going to go right back here to 4th and 11 and redo the kick. If they didn't go for it on 4th and 6, I highly doubt that they're going to try and run a fake here on 4th and 11, you think?
Be a very, very interesting play calling. There's always a chance they could pull it off, but personally, I would not go for it there.
Satterfield so far this season, 9 punts of 50 yards or more heading into this game. Rabson almost had that one blocked there, as this one is way too high. Not a lot of distance on it. Takes a few friendly Trinity bounces and rolls out of bounds right at about the 49-yard line. You saw there one of the Trinity sideline members taking off and running with it there. And we're going to get to see what this offense can do here. Up by 17 points, one of their biggest leads of the season so far, if you discount that Belhaven game.
So far, they've been showing that they are a very good football team.
Back, takes the snap, handoff, going to the running back, and that is going to be a great play there. Huerta still on the sideline, tiptoeing, tight row backed, in for the touchdown. Incredible play there. Zay Huerta, the junior out of San Antonio, Texas. Don't see him running the ball a lot, but he showed off his speed there. And what a fantastic play to give Trinity a 23-0 lead.
As you saw there in the replay, he had a couple blockers, but it was really just him just outrunning everyone on the field.
Huddle getting ready for the PAT here. One play, 51 yards, and 6 points. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up and kick is good. So you mean to say 24-0 ball game? I had a whole lot more prepared for that drive right there, but Huerta decided, you know what? I kind of want to score some points today.
It's been very successful that so far today.
Say Huerta has really kind of come alive as a two-way player. I haven't seen him a lot on the defensive side of the ball. It looks like he's more converting into that offensive role. player who was on defense, now converting to an offensive role, who we may or may not be seeing here throughout the day. Foster Malloy, a senior tight end out of Dallas, Texas. He's been a linebacker for the last few years, but now listed on the 2-deep as a tight end. And for those of you who are wondering, the 2-deep is essentially the first two players at every position, a very helpful key for Andrew and I whenever we're trying to figure out who's on the field at any given time.
Very, very helpful.
And so now Tyler Huddle getting ready for the kick. That drive only took 12 seconds because it was only one play. And so Huddle once again going to be booting this one out. It's a big booming kick and lands pretty much in the exact same place as his last kickoff, just a couple of inches above the top of the second tee in the Trinity word mark there.
It'll be first down, Sewanee on the 25.
And so now getting ready for the Sewanee offensive drive. So far today, Sewanee has not really been able to get a ton of yardage here. We'll see if that changes as Thomas bobbles the snap a little bit. This is a throw over the middle. This is a deep pass, complete as Njoku was in coverage. That was a huge play out to A.J. McLemore, the senior out of Franklin, Tennessee, leads the team in receptions. And now looks like he's down after that big play. We'll get the replay of it here.
You're going to see in the replay, Jacorin Thomas, thought about shorter options, but obviously saw A.J. McLaurin and was able to connect with him there.
Not sure what the injury might have been. I believe they're looking at something on his chest at the moment. Might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him there, but McLemore, one of the players to watch, and actually a very unique story for this player in particular. He is a transfer. This is his first year with the team here in his senior season. You might be thinking it's kind of odd to be transferring as a senior. Just go ahead and finish out your 4 years. He actually didn't have much of a choice as he went to Birmingham Southern, a school which was an SAA rival for Trinity for many years, before they shuttered their doors last season. And, of course, Birmingham Southern got a lot of national recognition for their baseball team, which ended up going to the College World Series. They ended up playing games after their school was shut down, so they were playing for a school that no longer existed. A very good feel-good story there for Birmingham Southern. But McLemore had to transfer out after the school closed down, as this play is out to Dyer Barnes, another big receiver to look out for during this game. Pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 5.
Good play there by the Sewanee Tigers, able to just get a couple more yards and further their drive.
BSC was always one of Trinity's big teams that they enjoyed playing up against. Just unfortunate with the financial issues, but it's always good to see players getting a second chance. As this is a run out to the right-hand side, and a good wrap-up there against Dawson White. Looks like the tackler is going to be number 99 on the Trinity defense. That is going to be Steele Herndon, who actually suffered an injury last week. Coach Urban said that he was going to be on a lot more of a pitch count this week, and that was one of the pitches right there. A great play there to bring down the short tackle.
Sewanee Tigers have been able to put a very good drive down so far.
Thomas in the gun, takes a snap, one-step drop. He's going to take off with it himself, and he's going to fight forward. He's going to get close to the first down line. Not sure if they're going to give it to him. And they're going to say that he's going to be about a yard short, so that'll be an interesting decision here for Coach Andrew McCollum on the Sewanee sideline. Do you go for it here on 4th and 1 with the ball on the 20?
Looks like they are going for it right now.
And so we'll see what happens here. White to Thomas's right-hand side. Thomas takes snap. He's going to try and run with it himself. And John Cole McAdams almost had the big stop there. Thomas slipped out of the tackle and got across the line for the first down, but almost a big defensive stop there. That was about an inch or two away from disaster for Sewanee.
Shakur Thomas showing off that he's a very shifty quarterback.
Thomas, a big dual threat there, something that Trinity said that they were going to have to be watching out for throughout this game. The defensive players were really, really focusing on that big key in particular. And discipline was one thing that Johnny Nwobodo mentioned during the interview. The discipline, avoiding penalties, avoiding mental mistakes was going to be huge, as that is a massive hit behind the line. Fantastic tackle coming in by Ryan Ventura, the freshman linebacker out of South Lake, Texas. A huge hit there for the 5-yard sack.
Very good play there by the Trinity defense, able to get in there and just swarm Jaquan Thomas. As we've seen, he's a very shifty runner.
Ventura just came in completely unblocked there. A huge hit. And he's going to get his first sack now of the season and of his career. As Thomas in the gun takes a snap, thinks about taking off with it. He's going to throw it to the right-hand side, fighting for it, and incomplete. Lawrence Falke with good defensive coverage there, as the intended receiver Jalen Hill, the freshman out of Tullahoma, Tennessee,
Pass breakup, Lawrence Falke.
was the intended target there. Apologies if there are any mispronunciations, particularly on team names. There are some very unique town names over in Tennessee. And so now 3rd down and 5. Thomas in the gun once again. Running back going into motion, and now going to be a handoff as White almost brought down, and finally going to get brought down on a gain of, I'd give that maybe about 2 or 3. Nowhere really to go. And Trinity with the big 3rd down stop, going to force the kick.
Very interesting play there by the Sewanee Tigers. You know, there wasn't much space. There wasn't that many blockers. I don't know what they were trying to do there.
One thing to note on the sideline, Steele Herndon, who we mentioned had an injury against center, was on a pitch count here today, is limping on the sideline, hoping that everything's going to go well as the snap is bobbled. This one is going to be taken away by the Trinity Tigers. The snap was bobbled there by the holder. The holder on that play, Cam Beasley, the freshman out of Sandersville, Georgia, and the kick never got off, and the Trinity defense fell on it for the big turnover there.
Very good play there by the Trinity defense, who's been incredibly strong so far today.
This has been a defensive masterclass so far by the Trinity Tigers, as this has been a much slower second quarter than it was in the first. And it's still 7 minutes left to go in this one. Running back going into motion. Now going to be a handoff to Milo over on the left-hand side. He's going to get up to about the 25-yard line, so a gain of maybe 1. Sets up 2nd down and 9.
Sewanee Tigers no longer confused by all the running plays the Trinity Tigers have been pulling off so far.
And so now the running backs in for Trinity. Milo to back's left, and Jackson Williams, the running back, on back's right. Back scrambles away from the pressure. Wide open space in front of him. He's going to take off with it himself, and he's going to step out of bounds right between the 30 and 35-yard line for a good gain there. Going to get the ball right up about 2 yards away from that 1st down marker.
Good pickup there by Ryan Beck, able to outlast 2 defenders and pick up a couple yards there.
Keegan Glaze, the star senior linebacker for Sewanee, was the one on the pressure there. Leads the team with 34 total tackles this season. And almost got a big sack there, but Back able to scramble out of it. Back takes a snap, fakes the handoff to Hutchison. Pass out to Will Taylor, who's going to get the 3rd down conversion. He had a lot of them last week against center, and now gets another one here today. Trinity so far today actually gets their first third down conversion of the day off of that Will Taylor pass and catch. So now back in the gun. Hutchinson still on his left-hand side. Hutchinson going to power forward up to about the 42-yard line for a gain of about 3.
Not much room there for Hutchinson to run through, but he was able to get something off the play.
This is a Sewanee defense that averages about 140 yards on the ground, towards the bottom of the conference in 5th out of 8 teams in total. As back, takes a snap, fakes a handoff, throw, tipped at the line, incomplete. Kason Holder, the senior defensive back out of McMinnville, Tennessee, was one who got his hand on it. Kason Holder, the brother of Ryland Holder, a defensive end for this team, number 5. You see him there on your screen closest to you, lining up at the bottom of the defensive line. So now back going to be in the gun. That looks like Legend Grigsby there on his right-hand side. Back takes a snap, 3-step drop, looks, fires complete to Grigsby. Grigsby now going to try and take over Grigsby loses the ball, and looks like Sewanee's going to fall on top of it. Jalen Mack with the fumble recovery there. Not sure who forced the fumble, but this is a Sewanee team that really prides itself on its turnovers and its turnover potential, and we're going to get the replay here. That's going to be Kason Holder. We just mentioned him getting his hand on it there and able to get his second forced fumble of the year. He takes the lead in that category as there were 2 players tied at 1. No, sorry, 3 players tied at 1. So he'll take the lead in that category. The 6'0", 195-pound defensive back. Doing pretty good for himself so far this season. One of the big players to watch. Handoff to White. White on the right-hand side. Has some good space up across midfield to about the 48-yard line there before finally being brought down by a combination of John Cole McAdams as well as Wakil Mateen, the sophomore linebacker out of San Antonio.
He also took down one of his own teammates there on that play.
One of the unfortunate things about being a wide receiver in run blocking coverage is that sometimes you end up being some collateral damage during a running play like that. Thomas in the gun, 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Fakes the run, and now the deep pass, and that one was a huge catch over the middle of the field there. Dyer Barnes, one of the faster players on this team, and a huge catch over the middle of the field for a big, big conversion there.
Sewanee Tigers seem to be overcoming their challenges and really starting to heat up now.
Looking at the play here, it was just a simple post route, it looks like. And in coverage there was Delvin Gant. Barnes was one of the players that Coach McCollum mentioned as being one of their better ones as Thomas throws one out to the left-hand side, tipped away, incomplete. John Cole McAdams, the big coverage defensive back, able to get that stop there and force a 2nd and goal situation from the 8. McCollum mentioned Barnes, a very good player, also a lot of room to grow. That's one of the things that he hit on a lot during our phone call with him. This is a very, very young team. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, a few juniors, maybe a couple of seniors, and only 1 fifth-year student. This is a very young team with a lot of growth and development left to do, and they're doing so here this year as Thomas takes off with it. He's going to try and charge for the end zone, but not able to get there. He's going to be stopped just about a yard short, and the Trinity Tigers baring their teeth here on a 3rd down and goal from the 1.
3rd and goal on the 1.
Shaquan Thomas is showcasing how good of a runner he is. on that last play.
And so here we go. A little bit of stoppage here as we get a player coming in. That player is going to be Talon Hall, a freshman wide receiver out of Tanner, Alabama, as now we get a timeout here by Sewanee as they want to kind of go over everything and figure out what they want to do here on this 3rd and goal situation. With 2:46 left to go before halftime, make sure not to go anywhere because we are going to have a very special guest here in the booth. Former Tiger quarterback and future Toronto Argonaut Tucker Horn is going to be joining us for about 5 minutes at the start of halftime in town here for this game. And always great to have former players coming into town, and it's going to be absolutely great to be able to talk to him later on during halftime, so make sure to stick around for that one. As the Trinity defense comes back out, the Sewanee offense coming back here. So on 3rd down and goal from the 1, we'll see what this defense is able to do. They're 2nd in the conference, 40th in the nation in 3rd down stops. The red zone defense leaves a little bit to be desired. There's going to be a run by White. He gets a late jump into the end zone. Are they going to say that he got there? I believe that they are. Touchdown, Sewanee Tigers. Dawson White, the freshman running back out of Lynchburg, Tennessee, gets the touchdown and puts Sewanee on the boards.
If you're able to see it here on this replay, you know, he able to just barely dive right in.
Great job there holding the knee up there as they're going to try and go for 2 here. A very unique play that is going to get smothered up at the line and not going to be able to get there. I don't think I've ever seen that formation before.
Neither have I, no.
Cade Rabson coming up a little bit shaky there after that one. We're going to get the replay here of this one. That's a very unique motion there. I've never... I've heard of a direct snap. I've never heard of a direct snap that's about probably 6 yards off to the side. But they didn't fumble the snap, which you'd think would happen whenever you're snapping, 5-6 yards offset. Just the Trinity defense doing a great job on the stop.
Yes, the Trinity defense was able to recognize, that some trickery was up and really stop that hard.
And so now Trinity leading 24-6 over the Sewanee Tigers here in this battle of the Big Cats. Trinity Tigers versus the Sewanee Tigers here from San Antonio, Texas, here on the Tiger Network. Always great to be having you here with us. 2:40 left to go here in the 2nd quarter, as this is going to be booted away here by Will Simpson. Taken in and now taking off with it is Love, and Love going to get right up to about the 30-yard line before being brought down. Jason Love, the freshman running back out of San Antonio, Texas, with that kick return. And so with 2:30 left to go here in this first half, Andrew, what do you think we're going to be seeing out of this Trinity offense? Are they going to go aggressive or maybe try and let off the gas, kind of run this clock down to halftime?
I think we're going to see a mixture. I think we're going to see, a couple runs here and there, and then a couple throws.
As this is a run, Winston Hutchinson on the left-hand side, almost able to break the tackle there. A shoestring grab by Trip Richardson, the senior out of Kennesaw, Georgia, saved a massive touchdown run there as Hutchinson on the huge gain gets this ball up to the 43-yard line.
So you can see there on the replay, Hutchinson had room to run, So very good job by the Sewanee Tigers.
The 26-yard run as Rainey takes this one in, cuts back inside, and a big gain up to the 23-yard line. And Trinity continuing to move this ball downfield. They are going really hard and really fast. As we hit the 2-minute warning, we are going to take a little quick break here on the Tiger Network. Don't go anywhere. Final minute 54 of the first half coming up, as well as a quick word with former Tiger quarterback Tucker Horn coming up at halftime. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to San Antonio and Trinity University here. Trinity moving the ball downfield really well against this Sewanee defense. And we'll see if they're able to continue it here. Back in the gun, 2 running backs on either side. It's going to be a handoff to Williams. Williams on the right-hand side. He's going to spin out of one tackle before getting popped for about a 3-yard loss there. And the clock will continue to roll, as that one really didn't get a chance to go anywhere.
No, it did not. You saw, maybe 3 to 4 Sewanee Tigers able to just come in there and totally swarm and bring them down for the loss.
And so that'll set up 2nd down and 12 here for this Trinity offense. Minute 20 left to go here as back snaps it off. It's going to be a reverse pass, and Tyson Hancock going to get stuffed hard behind the line. That was a great read there by Jalen Mack, the freshman cornerback out of Douglasville, Georgia, able to get that big tackle for a loss, his first on the season.
Trinity Tiger offense seemed to be, pulling off the brakes and going into halftime.
And so now it isn't 3rd and 50. It feels like 3rd and 50. It's 3rd down and 23 here. And now we're going to get whistles, as it looks like Sewanee going to call a timeout here. With 45 seconds left to go. That's going to be their first of the half. Or no, sorry, second of the half, as they will have 1 left. Trinity's still with all 3 of theirs. Trinity coming into this game, obviously coming off of a loss to Center. It was a very big shock loss, as well as it was the first time that Trinity had lost a conference game in 4 years. The last conference loss was against Hendrix. That was a 3-13 loss, actually here at home, back on March 6th, 2020. And so it had been a winning streak of 1,600 days between those 2 games. As this is going to be a handoff to Milo. Milo actually getting some blockers and able to get up to about the 30-yard line there. Still well short of the first down line to gain. Looks like that was more just a run in order to get better field position here for Tyler Huddle to come out and try and get a big kick. And so, Andrew, now with as time is running down before Trinity calls the timeout, what have you seen out of this Trinity Tigers team during this first half?
I'm seeing a very confident offense so far. Ryan Beck, he's a 67% completion rate so far. He's thrown for 153 yards. This is an offense that's been very hot, and it's been very exciting to see, as well as the defense that's been solid all season, and it's just showcasing that so far today.
Sewanee actually leading time of possession so far during this first half. That's actually kind of a little bit surprising because it feels like Trinity's had the ball almost non-stop throughout this one. They had a long drive in the second quarter or during this quarter that resulted in that touchdown, but it still felt like Trinity's really dominated the time of possession so far. But Sewanee in the lead of that particular category. And we'll see what Tyler Huddle is able to do here. It's going to be a 46-yard attempt, as now we have a Sewanee timeout trying to ice Huddle. Again, Huddle last week was perfect, 2 for 2 SAA Special Teams Player of the Week. He is perfect for field goals so far this season at 7-7. His longest is a 46-yarder he made earlier this year. His career longest, a 52-yarder, which actually tied the school record. That one was last year, which he set at Barry. And so this one going to be coming in from 44 yards out. Huddle lined up. Raider Horn, the holder. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. It's trailing and no good. Wide right there for Huddle. And so now 3 seconds left on the clock. We'll see if the Sewanee offense is able to do anything here on maybe a deep pass. And so do you think that they're going to just take the knee, let the clock run out? Looks like that's what their formation is here. And Thomas takes the snap and the knee. And so that will be the end of the first half. Trinity leading 24-6. And Andrew, what do you see mainly out of this Trinity team during that first half to give them this big lead?
As mentioned earlier, I've seen a lot of confidence, both in their defense being very, very solid, and the offense. They've been hot today, and they've been scoring a lot of points.
This defense has been absolutely lights out ever since the real start of this game. It's something that we saw a lot over the last few weeks as well. This is a team which is absolutely incredible. Top 50 in the nation in terms of total defensive yards allowed. Second in the conference in that category as well. They're really the second best defense overall in the conference. And it's been a very, very good run for them so far this season. Yeah. And so now we have a very, very special guest up with us here in the commentary booth. We would like to say hello to former Trinity quarterback, 5 years here with the team.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prowler.
Tucker Horn, how are you? Oh, hang on, there we go. The mic should be on now.
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so obviously, got to play here for 4 or 5 years. How does it feel to finally be back looking at the field from maybe a different point of view up here in the booth compared to down on the field like you were used to?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super cool to see all the young guys growing into their own and seeing a bunch of guys, that I didn't know getting a bunch of chances on the field, and they're taking care of business, so it's super fun to watch.
Yeah, and so obviously, Sewanee, a conference rival, didn't get to play them in 2020 in the spring because of COVID and everything. But over your, 4 games against the Sewanee Tigers. 4-0 record, 44 of 70 passing, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So obviously it seems like you kind of had a little bit of fun playing against them whenever you were down there.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have it's always fun to play Sewanee home or away. I mean, they always are a great competition. We get up for them, and it's always fun to go to their place. They got a beautiful campus, and they got a bunch of great guys that go to their school. So yeah, we were lucky enough to have some success over the years, and I'm excited to see them compete against our Tigers today.
Yeah, and so the news just came out a couple of days ago. You're heading up to Canada to play in the CFL, Toronto Argonauts. Am I correct on that one?
Yep.
And so, how did all that kind of come together?
Yeah, I mean, I had spoken out loud that I had the goal of playing professional football, and had my pro day at UTSA. I've been training for months and months and months, talking to different GMs, different scouts, and been right on the doorstep, but never got quite the opportunity. Was getting a little frustrated, and tried to go back to my relationship with God, knowing that the timing was going to be His, and it was going to be His plan. And over the last couple weeks, I threw for a couple more GMs, general managers, and threw in Houston for Toronto. And then last Monday, they called me up at 6 a.m. and wanted to sign me. So it was super exciting. I'm super excited to get up there, but there's a lot of work going forward. But just super excited to even get the opportunity.
Yeah, and so one of obviously your brother Raider currently playing on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You've got another brother Welker who's going to be coming on next year. And so how does it feel to kind of have that family relationship continuing here at Trinity?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Like playing with Raider at Trinity, and just being around the staff where they're just growing great men and leaders of the world. Like playing with Raider here was the best memories of my life. Probably ever will be. Currently, I'm coaching Welker at Lubbock Christian. He plays quarterback there, and he's already committed here, and he's in his senior year, going to be here next year. And it's super exciting that my parents don't even have to experience a gap. Like they're just going to get to experience, it's what seems like 10 years of Trinity football, where they have like a rooting interest in it and a person that they're supporting. And I'm excited for Welker to get to learn under some of these coaches and the staff, and just grow into a great man and leader.
Yeah, and so Raiders a defensive back, of
Yep.
course. So obviously some of your lessons as a quarterback maybe wouldn't be able to transfer over as easily. But how have you been able to sort of help Welker sort of like grow and develop as a player throughout like high school, and like pass on any sort of like quarterbacking lessons to him?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's more of definitely more of an athlete and physically developed than I was in high school. I mean, he's doing a great job. It's been awesome to just nurture our brotherly relationship. Like I'm getting to spend so much time with him that he may not know it, but I'm valuing the heck out of it. I'm every single time that I can share a smile with him, share like a story or something like that, like it is the coolest thing. And then as far as quarterback wise, I'm just trying to give him little nuggets here and there that not having a quarterback specialist in the past at their school was a little bit different, and he may not have gotten some coaching tips here and there, but I'm just trying to pass down all the information that I have that I've gained over the years from my different coaches, and I'm just trying to be there to help support him, help grow into the best player he can be, and he's doing a great job of working at that. So
Yeah, and so looking down at like all of your like career stats, so at that. In the leading receiver category, noticing some very familiar faces here. Ryan Merrifield, one of the big all-time leaders for Trinity in terms of receiving. Have you guys been able to sort of like connect post-graduation and maybe like put in a good word with Toronto, maybe to see if you guys could maybe reunite up there?
Yeah, we were planning on living together for draft prep training up in Fort Worth, and he ended up. He called me one day and was like, hey, like, even if I got the opportunity to play pro ball, I'm not sure if I'd take it. Like, he's ready to kind of to settle down, start working in a job in an office, and, have fun with his family and his significant other, and he's doing a great job too. Like, I mean, all those guys, Cole Monego, Ryan Merrifield, Chris Stewart, Tommy Levine, Caleb Crawford, like, they are absolutely thriving after graduation. Like, they are super good dudes, and it's all a testament to the program that they were a part of for their time here at Trinity. So.
Yeah, and so you are obviously a Texas kid, and so with Red River coming up later this afternoon, what do you think that game's going to be like up in Dallas?
I think UT is going to win. Now, I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, so I've been a Texas Tech fan my whole life, so my rooting interest has been against the Longhorns for the longest. As a football fan, I think Texas will win. I'm rooting for Oklahoma, though, is what I'll say.
And so, final question: what have you kind of seen out of this Trinity team? Not sure if you've been watching over the course of this season, but just for today in particular, what have you kind of seen out of this Trinity team, out of this offense, as they've gone through with this 24-6 lead right now over Sewanee?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the defense. Like, they're stifling. Like, I know we have a bunch of new guys on the O line. I mean, the D line, and in the secondary, but our linebackers and Box are doing a good job of stopping the run, and our defensive backs are doing a good job of putting a cap on things. What shines through for them is just effort and intensity. Like, they're always so focused on their job and stopping the offense, and Coach Mahalik does a great job with them. And then as far as offense goes, like, man, I really think we're about to hit our stride. Like, Ryan's doing a great job. The O-line, they're as old as probably they've ever been. Most years of experience, most gains of experience that Trinity O-line's had in a long, long time. And that's shining through. We're doing a great job running it. And our skill players, man, we just have so many guys that need to touch the ball and are so talented with the ball in their hands. And Ryan's doing a really, really good job of getting the ball to them and kind of leading the guys on the field. So.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Tucker, thank you so much for the time. This is absolutely awesome. Make sure to continue to enjoy the second half. And also, everybody at home, make sure to enjoy the second half, which will start up right in about 10 or 12 minutes time. We're going to come back a couple of minutes before that just to give you a first half recap and get you prepped for the second half here on the Trinity Tiger Network. Don't go anywhere, or actually do go somewhere. Go ahead and get some food, get some drinks, maybe a bathroom stop, and make sure to be back here in 10 minutes time whenever we get ready for the second half of this fantastic matchup between the Trinity University Tigers and the University of the South Sewanee Tigers here from San Antonio. Welcome back, everybody, here to San Antonio, Texas, as Trinity has a 24-6 lead over the Sewanee Tigers, the University of the South, over in Sewanee, Tennessee. As Trinity really got after Sewanee in that first half. Andrew, what did you see from that first half out of the Trinity Tigers?
I saw total, dominance on the offensive side as well as the defensive side. I think, the entire team so far has been clicking, as you're going to see here in, these replays. Trinity Tigers have been doing a lot of running, and they've found a lot of success through it.
And meanwhile, on the Sewanee side, they have had not really the best day so far. 111 total yards compared to Trinity's 355. Only 14 yards on the ground, and 1 for 7 on third down, as well as 1 for 2 on fourth. But it's not really been the best day for Sewanee, has it?
No, it's not. But as we saw in the second half, towards the end there, they started heating up and they got 6 on the board. So I think they'll come out the gate pretty confident, and they're going to start some things up.
This is a Trinity team that has been absolutely dominant on the defensive side of the ball. Not just this game, but that's really been their trademark this season, as they forced 4 turnovers against a Washington and Lee squad that averaged quite a few points per game. Also, on top of that, they have just really been lights out, and something that we haven't really seen a lot of so far, but something that we've seen a lot in this game is the offense has really, really started clicking.
Yes, they have. They've started clicking on the passing from Ryan Beck so far in the day. He's 10 for 15 for 53 yards, and 1 touchdown.
And so we'll see if that is able to continue here. Sewanee will be getting the ball first here. Trinity took advantage of their first drive with an opening drive field goal, followed by then forcing a Sewanee punt. Trinity was stopped on downs on a fake punt, but then managed to get a good touchdown drive together, which was capped off by a 50-yard Alejandro Taveras reception. After that, Trinity scored 2 more touchdowns in 2 straight drives. And the Trinity Tigers here today hoping to continue their strong offense in this second half. Huddle, make sure that everybody is ready before the kick. And the second half is underway here in San Antonio. This one went out the back of the end zone, actually hit right at the back of the end zone out of bounds line.
First down on the 25.
So that one didn't even land in the end zone. That one landed just straight out of bounds. And will be a touchback that starts this drive at the 25-yard line.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Sewanee Tigers choose to do here, whether it be a run or another big throw.
Thomas takes the snap. It's going to be a screen pass to the receiver, Dyer. Dyer not going to be able to get much of anything. Maybe back up to the line of scrimmage if he's lucky, but Dyer Barnes just stuffed there on that play. They're going to credit it as a gain of 1, make it 2nd and 9.
Cole McAdams starting it off. Second half.
Sewanee Tigers there had no room to run, and the Trinity defense, once again, absolutely dominating and taking them down.
This is a game where nothing's really going to be left on the table here. This is the best of every team going against the best of the other. As Rabson on the pressure knocks down Thomas on the throw, and that was great defensive coverage there, as the tight end Alford was the one who got that reception and brought down pretty quickly there. Only a gain of about 2, or actually only a gain of 1 to make it 3rd down and 8.
It is 3rd down.
Very good one, too, by Kid Rabson and Wakil Mateen, who was the one who ultimately made that tackle there in the Sewanee.
Mateen getting his first career start here. after some injuries to players up and down the roster. One big name who we haven't called out, Tyson Cornett, who is out for this game, as Thomas moving around. He's going to dump it off to his receiver and actually able to break a couple of tackles and get up to the first down line. And a good first down for Sewanee, their first of the second half and their fourth so far of the game.
So far, coming out of the half, you know, the Sewanee Tigers have been very hot. They've been making a lot of big chunk plays and charging down the field.
This is a Trinity defense that's missing quite a lot of big names. Of course, Tyson Cornett is out for this one. Cornett has had a forced turnover in every game that he's played in so far this season. As this is going to be a fake handoff to White, and Max Shillstone there on the big stop, forcing the loss of yardage there. As a fantastic play in there by the senior out of Houston.
And by Max Shillstone.
It's just a prime example there by the, you know, how dominant the Trinity defense truly is.
Cornett at the end of the Washington and Lee game, he said, took a bad step, ended up hurting his leg, and it was actually a torn meniscus, he said. Timetable of about 4 to 6 weeks, but it's already been 3 weeks since that Washington and Lee game. As Thomas moving out to his right-hand side, flag is down. A big hit there on the quarterback as the pass falls incomplete. Intended there for number 7, Talon Hall. As this one looks like it's going to be coming back on a holding call there. One of the Sewanee linemen tripped up and landed on top of one of the Trinity defenders, and it is going to be holding.
There have been quite a few penalties on both sides so far today.
The penalty will be declined due to the result of the play being an incompletion. That penalty was called there on Austin Rudd, the freshman right tackle out of Stockbridge, Georgia. Thomas takes a snap, drops back, pressure coming all around him, managing to break out of it, still having to scramble for his life, and taken away, but on the sideline by Lawrence Falke, so not going to be a turnover there, but a massive hurry there by quite a few players.
As we've seen all day, Jacorin Thomas, you know, is quite a scrambler. He's very fast. He's very agile. And he was able there to just break out of the, you know, Trinity defense that was swarming him.
It is fourth down.
And so now we're going to get a look here at the Trinity offense coming out after this punt. The punter for this one is going to be Jack Satterfield, the senior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Snap, kick is away, end over end and spinning. Lands at the 37-yard line before being downed right there by, that's going to be number 31, Robert Richardson, the 6'1 linebacker out of Lyles, Tennessee. And so now that we get a look at the Trinity offense coming out, starters still in for this second half. And some things to note. Legend Grigsby, already well over the mark needed to become the 26th ever player to rush for 1,200 or more yards in a career for Trinity. As this one is going to get swallowed up at the line. Actually going to be a loss of about 2 or 3 there. That one was taken in by Zay Huerta.
Trinity line wasn't able to make a big enough gap there for him to you know, really be able to run. But also the Sewanee Tigers able to gap there and, you know, bring him down for a loss.
Great job there by the defense. As now Winston Hutchison comes on. Hutchison, as well, has already crossed the mark to reach 1,700 rushing yards. This is a deep pass by Ryan Beck, caught on the sideline by Will Taylor. He's still fighting. He's into the end zone. Will Taylor, the junior captain, at the wide receiver position. A massive play there, 60 yards in for the score.
You're going to see in the replay, Ryan Beck almost saw short, and then he saw Will Taylor all the way deep up the field and, connected on that perfect pass.
Taylor broke past Jalen Mack, the freshman cornerback out of Douglasville, Georgia, and that was a 60-yard touchdown there. And this Trinity offense just continues to roll through the Sewanee Tigers. Huddle getting ready for the PAT to make it a 31-6 game. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and kick is straight through the uprights and hits right at the back fence there to make this a 31-6 ball game in favor of the Trinity University Tigers. Trinity has really gone on a massive tear, hitting quite a few explosive plays so far during this one. And that one a 60-yard touchdown there for the Trinity University Tigers. And that's something that we were really kind of looking for going into this game, because Trinity had really struggled not only with keeping drives alive, but also with their explosive plays. There haven't been a ton of them so far this season, but they've definitely been doing great so far in this one.
Yes, they have.
So far, all of the touchdowns for Trinity have been 20 yards or more. The shortest one was a 21-yard Legend Grigsby run to start the second quarter. As Huddle getting ready to boot this one away. Fair catch called for right at the front of the end zone there by the returner Dawson White.
First down on the 25.
Grigsby, of course, got a touchdown earlier, making it his 21st career touchdown. And whenever we got to talk with Legend earlier on in the day, just mentioned, of course, obviously with the loss against Center, he mentioned that it was a very, very good Center team that they played against. But also in terms of the injuries, he mentioned that this is a team that really prides itself on its next man up mentality, as Thomas is going to get smothered at the line. A whole host of Tigers coming in. I believe it was Shellstone as well as Cade Rabson able to bring him down.
Gordon Thomas trying to run it through, for a big gain, but unfortunately there's weren't blockers in the Trinity defense. As we've touched on many times today, we're able to get in there and just bring him down.
The Trinity defense has just been dominating so far here today, and whenever we got to talk with Tyson Cornett, he mentioned that this is a team that really feeds off one another in terms of just working together, both offensively and defensively, as this one is going to be incomplete. They're on the hurry. Believe that was Greg Jones, the junior linebacker out of Brownsville, Texas. There, as Trinity rotating in a few players in and out of various positions, giving the starters some rest and bringing in some other guys who don't get looks that often, as they have a 25-point lead. So now Thomas in the gun, White to his left. Handoff, White going up the middle and hit hard at the line. That's not going to get much of anything there on third down. And Trinity once again with a big third down stop to set up fourth down and 4 for the, looks like they're going to be bringing out the punt team.
That'd be a very smart play. They've tried to convert on a couple fourth downs, and they've been very unsuccessful so far.
And so where do you think the skill difference has been? Do you think that it's been more with the Sewanee running backs, or do you think that the Trinity defense is just able to have overwhelmed this offensive line so far?
I think the Trinity defense is, be able to just come in and, truly dominate as we've seen all season and as we've seen today.
This punt is away. It's a short wobbler and a diving taken there by... See, that's going to be Keegan Glaze, the senior linebacker out of Nashville. Nashville, of course, last weekend, home to a pretty big upset in the world of college football as Vanderbilt took down number 1 ranked Alabama. And whenever we got to talk with Coach Andrew McCollum, we, of course, had to mention it, one of the biggest pieces of sports news of the year. And we mentioned, actually, that Coach Lee, the head coach of Vanderbilt, actually has a house fairly close to the Sewanee area and had nothing but congratulations to say as this one is over the middle, actually intercepted, taken away here by the Sewanee defense. Stiff arms Ryan back into the ground before finally running out of bounds. That one right there, trying to see who it was Caleb C., the 5th-year safety out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And so a day that has so far been perfect for back suddenly becomes unperfect there on the interception, and a leaping takeaway there as that was intended for Tavares.
Unfortunate error there by Ryan Beck.
First down on the 43.
It was a good read there as Tavares did have a step on his man, but see, they're just able to leap up and grab that one away. Now Thomas going to pitch this one over. And now trying to cut back inside, barely going to be able to get back to the line of scrimmage if he gets anything at all. As that one was Talon Hall, the freshman wide receiver out of Tanner, Alabama.
It is second down.
Second down now coming up for this Trinity defense, which is allowing just under 265 yards per game. Good for 31st in the nation in that particular category. So far today, they've only allowed 130, so that average looks like it'll be dropping here as we have 8 to go in the third. Little dump over pass, and not going to be able to get anywhere as Hall fought forward to the line of scrimmage, but the leap was just unable to get forward there and sets up third down and 10 from the Trinity 43-yard line.
Good play there again by the Trinity defense, able to stop them and make sure they don't get big yards.
This is a very young Sewanee team. Majority of this team are freshmen and sophomores. I suppose a few juniors and seniors as well, but it is a very young team. As Thomas takes the snap, the sophomore looking, firing left side, looking for it, and was he able to get in there? He was! What a play there by Dyer Barnes, able to perform the tightrope act on the sideline on the deep pass. We're going to get the replay of it here.
You're going to see in the replay, there was a little bit of pressure, but not enough. And the wide receiver was able to just get there.
Fell right into the breadbasket there and sets up a 1st and goal situation on the 5-yard line here for the Sewanee Tigers. Thomas in the gun, takes snap. He's going to run out to his left-hand side, and he's going to get swallowed up by the Trinity defense there. As this one down to the 3 or 4 yard line there. Going to make it 2nd and short.
Sewanee Tigers been doing a lot of running the ball today, but not a lot of success so far.
When we got to talk with Coach Urban, he mentioned that this defensive unit has really stepped up with a lot of swagger this season. They trust themselves, they trust each other. This is a very combined unit that is playing well together. And it's up to this combined unit to keep Sewanee out of the end zone here. Thomas takes a snap, incomplete, a bit too far away from the outstretched hands there of his intended target. That was Paxton Haywood, the freshman tight end. And so on 3rd and 3 here, would you go for the run or try and pass it in?
I'll go for the run personally. You know, as we saw in that last play, they were not able to connect on that pass. And they have been going to, get small yards on all the runs they've been doing.
Thomas in the back. It's actually going to be a direct snap there to White, and White tumbling forward into the end zone. He gets his second touchdown of the day as Sewanee, trying to chip into this lead, makes it a 31-12 game with the PAT pending.
Good play there by the Sewanee Tigers, able to open up that hole and allow White to run and really get that in there confidently.
They're going to come out with a swinging gate formation yet again. Actually, no, they're going to convert to a more normal style here, and actually they're going to go into a field, or they're going to try and go for the PAT kick. Good snap, good hold, almost blocked, but kick was away and through the uprights nonetheless. A little bit dangerous there for Will Simpson, who continues to be perfect on the season for PAT, make that 10 of 10 for him on the year. As Sewanee now trails 31-13. And actually, never mind, we had a flag. There was an offensive penalty. And so take that point off the board. We're going to do this one again. Penalty call was a false start. And so that'll put the ball back now at the 8-yard line. So Simpson lining up for the kick once again. Good snap, good hold. This one's blocked! Finally got in there. The big block coming in by, that one is going to be number 10, Jaden Sovrel, the sophomore defensive back out of New Braunfels. And a great play there by Sovrel, able to just pierce through the line and get his hand on it to stop it. So it will not be 31-13. Instead, it's going to be 31-12. Waiting on the scoreboard here in the stadium to update on that. But either way, Trinity able to take advantage of that flag and then take advantage with the blocked kick. And now we will see two new faces on the returning, or on the kick return, as Jason Love, the freshman out of San Antonio, Texas, will line up on the far side, joined by Tyson Hancock. Hancock is a sophomore wide receiver out of Smithville. This one actually going to be taken in by Hancock. Hancock actually has some blockers here. He cuts across the 40 and stumbling to stay on his feet. He's going to get up to midfield on the big kick return.
Very good play there by Tyson Hancock, as well as all the blockers. They gave him a lot of space, they gave him room, and he was able to, complete on that.
And so now we'll see this Trinity offense coming back out, seeing a mixture of both starters and backups in. So we'll see what the team decides to roll with here, if we're going to bring in the twos or not. Trinity leading by a pretty hefty margin now, 19 points in favor of Trinity. The Trinity Tigers, not the Sewanee Tigers. There is a flag down, and it's going to be going against Sewanee, so that's going to push this ball now further across, and it's actually going to go across midfield. So this one's going to go all the way up to the 36-yard line of Sewanee. And that's something that Coach McCollum was talking about in the last time that these teams played back in 2023. Sewanee allowed Trinity some very good field position, and it's something that they didn't really capitalize, or that Trinity capitalized on too much. And they're going to call it sideline interference, being the penalty against Sewanee. Back fakes the handoff, and now pass over to Tavares is caught and out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So a good gain of about 6 yards.
Another good play there by Ryan Beck, able to, find his man and hit him right where he needed to be.
The running back here for this play is going to be Winston Hutchison. Hutchison, the 5th year out of Round Rock, Texas. As back in the gun, 2 receivers on either end. Takes a snap, handoff Hutchison. Hutchison running out to the right-hand side. Hutchison fighting forward, and he's going to get across the first down line up to the 24-yard line before getting brought down.
For the first down.
And so with this big lead and the Trinity defense being pretty stifling so far, do you anticipate that we might be seeing some new faces whenever we hit the 4th quarter, or do you think that it will take maybe a little bit longer, or do you think these starters are going to stay in the game for the entire duration?
I think we're going to see a lot of new faces, maybe real soon. But I think it all depends, what happens here.
Great play out there to B.J. Rainey, who gets close to the first down line. We'll see if they give it to him. They are going to give Rainey the first down here, and so that will be a gain of about 11 there for the senior wide receiver out of Cedar Hill, Texas. Rainey had 40 yards on 3 receptions last week against Center and played in every single game last season. The highlight of his year so far was a 68-yard touchdown against Belhaven. Back in the gun, Johnny Milo to his left. Milo takes the handoff and fighting forward through the line. And going to get stopped by a brick wall there of a defense on a gain of maybe about 2 or 3.
Trinity Tigers seem to be trying to run out the clock here a little bit.
Milo last season didn't have a massive role. He was running back number 4 and really a 3 running back rotation between Hutchison, Grigsby, and Justin Carmouche. But this year, Milo has definitely stepped up. He scored the only rushing touchdown against Washington and Lee, and he's going to get the handoff here on the right-hand side, still fighting forward and brought down at about the 3-yard line there. So continuing to rack up the mileage here and continuing to be a big presence here on this on this offensive unit.
First and goal on the 3.
As Milo now comes off, Maddox Morkovsky is now going to be in at what looks to be a running back position here. He's listed as a tight end, and now we're going to get whistles for a Trinity timeout. So with 3:23 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, we are going to take a quick break as well, and we will be right back on the Trinity Tiger Network getting ready for a 1st and goal situation for the Trinity Tigers. Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here. Trinity getting set up with a 1st and goal from the 3. Maddox Morkovsky in at running back to the right of back. Morkovsky going to take the handoff. He is going to fight forward, and he is going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Morkovsky, and the Trinity Tigers extending their lead here over the University of the South as they now take a 37-12 lead here in San Antonio.
You're going to see in the replay, they gave him a little bit of edge, but he was also just able to force his way in.
That's something that Legend Grigsby talked about a lot whenever I asked him whether or not they were planning on exploiting the run or the pass. He said that they're just going to take whatever the defense gives them. And that Sewanee defense gave Morkovsky a pretty nice gap that he was able to run through and put 6 on the boards. Horn with the hold, Huddle with the kick, and Huddle with the PAT to make this a 38-12 ball game in favor of the Trinity Tigers. Just a great offensive day overall, hasn't it?
Most definitely, yes. You know, we've seen Ryan Beck, you know, getting after it so far today. He's 13 for 19 with 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 68% completion rate.
Trinity now leading by 26 over Sewanee. And this was really a crucial game, not just for Trinity in terms of conference-wise, but also they really needed this game to kind of regain a lot of momentum. They didn't have a lot, obviously, after the TOU loss. Got a whole lot after victories over Belhaven and Washington and Lee, but then they took the bye week, had the road trip to Center, which resulted in that tough homecoming loss, or a homecoming victory for Center, road loss for Trinity. And as the ball gets blown off the tee here in the wind, something that we haven't really seen too much, as this has been really a beautiful day for a football game.
Yes. There's not a cloud in the sky right now.
89 degrees right now in the San Antonio area. Absolutely perfect, and not a ton of wind. Not sure how the ball got blown off the tee there, but either way, Huddle's kick is away. This one is not even going to land in the end zone. It's not even going to land in the white, as that one hits the green at the very end of the end zone to set up a touchback once again, as Huddle has just been booming these kicks out recently. But Trinity definitely needed this game, I think, just to kind of refocus, and it's something that everybody mentioned whenever we talked to them about it. It's just great to be back in front of home crowds. One thing that Coach Urban did mention, he just wishes that it wasn't 90 degrees outside, maybe get a little bit more fans in the area. This one, a deep pass, complete to Dyer Barnes. Barnes is running away with it, and the fastest man on the team runs it in for 6.
Big play there by the Sewanee Tigers. You know, Shakur Thomas able to see his man, and Dyer Barnes, as you can see here on this replay, you know, he was by himself pretty much. He's able to just run it all the way back.
One play, 75 yards there. Looks like a little bit of miscommunication there on maybe a zone for John Cole McAdams and Lawrence Falke. But that big 75-yard strike, an explosive play there for Sewanee, who has really not had a lot of those so far during this game, and trying to keep this game close. Simpson with the kick. It is up and it is good to now make this once again a 19-point ball game with 3:04 left to go in the third quarter.
That was a real statement play there by the Sewanee Tigers. You know, they're letting the Trinity, defense know, hey, you know, yes, we are down, but, you know, we're still in it, and we can still get huge plays when we need them.
Whenever we got to speak with one of the defensive leaders of this team, Johnny Nwobodo, he mentioned that discipline is going to be really the biggest thing. Not just avoiding penalties, but also just staying focused. And he mentioned it mainly in terms of dealing with the mobility of Jakor and Thomas, but also just overall having to, you know, not take any plays off. And looks like the defense might have taken a play off there. And it resulted in 7. The Sewanee Tigers celebrating their 129th season as a football team. As Simpson is lining up here, looks like they're going to boot this one high and taken in by Johnny Milo. Milo going to dance around before being basically suplexed there at the 35-yard line.
couldn't see who it was who did the WWE move, but definitely would have been good enough for maybe some. Do they do a Saturday Night SmackDown? I'm not really a big wrestling fan, so I'm not entirely sure on that.
I'm not a fan either. I'm not actually tapped into that, unfortunately.
If there are any wrestling fans in the audience, make sure to let us know if they do Saturday night for WWE, as that is legend Grigsby with a massive run on the right-hand side. Good for a gain of about 5 yards there. 15 yards, and sets up a first down. Great run there by Grigsby, as majority of the starters are still in for this one. Once again here on the Tiger Network, always a pleasure to have you here, as Grigsby fighting forward, spinning around, and we have a flag down right at about midfield. Waiting to see what the penalty is. They're all pointing to where the flag is, but not who the flag is on. And it's going to be holding here against Trinity. The tackler on that play was Kason Holder, the senior defensive back. And so that'll push Trinity back 10 and make it a second down and make it a first down and 19, as Santi Bowman, the one who was tagged with the holding call. Officials ready for this play to resume. Hutchinson going into motion, and now the swing pass out to Hutchinson. Hutchinson on the right side, able to get a pretty hefty gain there. That's going to be about 18 or 19 yards. And waiting to see if they call for the chain crew to start moving. Looks like they're going to say that he was about a yard short there, but they're going to credit that as 16 yards for Winston Hutchinson.
Very big play there. He had a lot of blockers, and he had a very good avenue just to run all the way up.
And so here we go, back in the gun, running back over to his left-hand side. 2 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Fakes a handoff, throw over the middle. That is complete to Alex Teal, and Teal going to get across the first down, and then quite a bit as he gets brought down at the 29-yard line for his first reception of the season.
Good play there by Teal as well. It was a bit of a high throw, but he was able to come down with it and still get some yards off it.
And so back in the gun once again, 2 on the right, 1 on the left, running back on his right-hand side. Back 2 clap count before dropping back. He's going to have to scramble out of this one as pressure is coming. A big block there laid down by Bowman, as back continuing to run along the sideline before finally stepping out at about the 21-yard line. But that was a huge hit laid down there by Santi Bowman, the 5th-year left guard.
Yes, it was. Back has to feel very good knowing those guys are on his side and protecting him.
And that's something that Coach Irwin was talking about there. Everybody has kind of struggled on the details part of the offense so far this season, but looks like they're finally starting to get it together here, as Huerta now pushing forward up to the 15-yard line and good for a first down. But Coach Irwin mentioned that the small details, the offensive line picking up whenever the quarterback is moving around in the pocket, the wide receivers making sure that their depth on routes is perfect. Everything about angles and trajectories and everything has just been kind of a bit off so far this season, whenever he described as to why the offense has been maybe a little bit flat so far this year. But it definitely hasn't looked flat so far during the first 3 quarters of this one, and it definitely didn't look flat on that play as everybody was in sync. And it marked the second to last play of the third quarter. And we now head on into the fourth with Trinity leading 38-19 over the University of the South. We are going to take a quick break here on the Trinity Tiger Network. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in just about a minute here, getting ready for quarter number 4 here from San Antonio.
All right, fourth quarter coming up. Here we go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here. San Antonio, Texas, your host for this incredible matchup, as that is almost broken there by Jackson Williams for the big score.
Jackson Williams.
Instead, Williams spun around and taken down. As the starters remain in this game, so Trinity going to try and continue pushing here. And on one hand, you may or you maybe would want to get some younger guys in, but also, do you think that maybe this is a chance to maybe build some momentum, build some confidence for this offensive unit? As Milo runs out to the left-hand side, he cuts outside. Milo racing for the end zone. Milo into the touchdown, untouched as he races into the end zone. And Trinity continuing to extend their lead here.
Very good play there by Johnny Mallett. As you can see here on this play, he made one cut, made another cut, and was able to just, by himself run it all the way in.
Completely untouched as he walks into the end zone. Well, maybe not walked, more of a run, but either way, Milo, he has been very shifty, and somebody who Legend Grigsby actually complimented is saying he's kind of a perfect mix between himself, who is much more of a speedy outside of the tackles kind of guy, and Winston Hutchinson, who is a lot better up the middle. Milo's kind of a little bit of both, and it's been really exciting to watch him play over the last couple of years. This kick is booming, actually hits off of the scoreboard, and the booming PAT makes it a 45-19 lead in favor of the Trinity Tigers. And so, obviously, question got a little bit cut off there, but would you keep the starters in, maybe let them build some sort of offense momentum, build some rhythm, as it's clear that they're moving very well so far. Maybe see if they can build some chemistry and momentum for their next game next week?
Given that Trinity is up 26, I think they would try to, smooth things out. And maybe take some starters out, shorter in the fourth quarter, but for now, keep them in, keep them going.
Huddle getting ready to deliver this one away. So far, he's kicked pretty much every single one of these back for a touchback. There is some wind that has just picked up. Looks like the wind is going to be blowing against Huddle's kick here, so we'll see if it's able to get to the end zone or not. Pretty good line shot and taken in here by White. White going to be moving around the right sideline before finally getting brought down maybe about a yard past the 25-yard line. So not the... so definitely could have let it bounce back into the end zone for the same result, but either way, a good return there by Dawson White.
Yes, this was the Sewanee, special teams was able to make a bit of room for him and, get a couple extra yards off that.
And so now Jacorian Thomas getting ready here to lead his team once again. White moves into motion over to the right-hand side, and now White with the handoff. He is going to get smothered up at the line. Jackson Priestmeyer and able to bring him down. Also looks like Jackson Berry was in on the ankle wrap-up. And once again, he has been everywhere so far today. Cade Rapson also involved there on that tackle behind the line. This is a team that is swarming the ball at the moment.
Yes, it is. You know, they're not giving the Sewanee Tigers, who've tried a lot of runs today, any space to go.
Cade Rapson on the tackle.
So White moving from right to left behind Jacorian Thomas. It is going to be a handoff to White, and White once again gonna get stuffed. Jackson Berry in for the stop, and also involved there, I believe it was Elijah Gonzalez, the freshman defensive lineman out of Driftwood, Texas.
It is 3rd down and 8.
As Trinity using most of their starting defensive players. Looks like Johnny Nwobodo is not in, as well as I believe James O'Gunran. Haven't called his name a lot so far today, as Thomas looks, fires left-hand side, and complete on the sliding catch to Dyer Barnes. Barnes, so far today, 157 yards on the play. That's going to jump up after that completion is logged. 167 yards on the day with a touchdown, 6 receptions on 7 targets. A very, very good day for the sophomore out of Hohenwald.
Yes, it was.
Averaging 50 yards per game. That number is definitely going to spike, as this is going to be a handoff to White. White running through the middle of the field and able to get across midfield. Finally ankle tackled down at the 47-yard line of Trinity. They're going to mark him down actually at the 48. And so another big gain keeps this ball moving for the Sewanee Tigers. They are not out of this one yet by any means.
No, they aren't. You know, they're still showing that they are very much still alive. You know, a lot of their big plays have come from, you know, huge gains down the field and just, you know, lapses by the Trinity defense.
26-point lead for the Trinity Tigers here so far, as it is going to be a handoff to White once again. Dawson White has gotten a lot of rushes so far here today, as that will be his 11th rush. Gain of roughly about 4 yards, which is pretty much what he's at on the day. 11 rushes, 45 yards, averaging 4.1 yards per carry. As the Sewanee offense gets the signal in, everybody lining up, getting ready to go. Two receivers and a tight end out to the right for Thomas. One receiver on the left-hand side. Thomas throws over the middle of the field. It is caught, taken in there. A big leaping play there by Hall. And now Sewanee going to try going in the hurry up to catch the Trinity offense on its heels.
He's here in the replay, you know, big throw, big connect. Great catch there, actually.
Great job there, as Falke tried to maybe push him off his route. But either way, this Trinity defense now might be kind of reeling a little bit here. Multiple first down plays in succession as White stumbles and falls down before being hit by Anthony Njoku. And that will be a gain of about 6 yards there to make it 2nd down and 4. The Sewanee offense starting to kind of come alive a little bit here, and something that Coach McCollum talked about, needing to capitalize on of course, any chance they get with the ball. It's a direct snap to White, who's powering forward. Is he going to get into the end zone? Waiting for the signal from the official. It looked like he reached towards the end of that play, and they're going to say he's stopped at maybe about the half-yard line. A huge run there for Dawson White. And direct snap, flag is out. Waiting to see what it is.
As you can see here on the replay on that last play, Dawson White had a lot of space, a lot of blockers, and, almost got in that end zone.
Looks like he tried to stabilize himself, keep himself upright before reaching forward, which is what ended up stopping his momentum. Waiting to see what the penalty is here. And here's the signal. It is going to be on the Trinity defense, and so this penalty will be declined, and it will be a touchdown for the Sewanee Tigers, as I believe that was Dawson White who got it into the end zone on the direct snap. And now we're going to see for the PAT, Will Simpson coming out to kick this one off. It is up, and it is good to make this now a 45-26 game in favor of the Trinity Tigers. Might be getting close to some scoreagami potential here. I don't think I've ever seen a 45-26 football game. I know that I haven't seen that in the NFL. I'm not sure if it has happened in college before, but a very unique score for sure.
Yes, it is.
And so now with 9:16 left to go here in the fourth quarter, do you think that the Trinity offense is going to be kind of taking their foot off the gas a little bit, maybe try and run the ball or run the ball a bit more to kind of drain the clock, or do you think that we'll be seeing maybe more aggressive team try and continuing to maybe start a shootout here between these two schools?
I think on this drive, we're a little bit more of a shootout. Maybe try to get down the field, put 8 on the board. Let them know, hey, yes, you guys are scoring, but we can score as well. And then if they do, land on this drive, right, we take the gas off and run the ball down.
And so now Simpson getting ready to kick this one away. Lines up and boots this one off. Be taken in by B.J. Rainey. And now Rainey moving out to the left-hand side. Rainey slipping some tackles. He is brought down finally at the 34-yard line, but a great gain there for B.J. Rainey, the senior wide receiver out of Cedar Hill, Texas. So, Andrew, obviously the Trinity defense has been amazing so far today. We knew that coming in. We knew that they were going to be a great unit. But has the strength of this offense kind of maybe surprised you a little bit?
Yes, it has. This is something I think we saw the hints of at the Washington League game. We haven't really seen, this full, offense as we have today.
This team definitely living up to its potential here. Is back, fakes the handoff, toss over to the receiver on the screen pass, and able to get it about midway to the first down line. That one out to Maddox Crawford, the freshman wide receiver out of Atlanta, Georgia. And that will be a gain credited of 8 to make this a 2nd down and 2 situation. This is a Sewanee team that, while it may be very old, its coach has definitely been around the block a time or two. As Johnny Milo going to power forward for a first down. Coach Andrew McCollum entering his 43rd year of coaching, the 32nd head coach in Sewanee history, and he has had quite a few different jobs throughout his career. Started coaching back in 1981 with Middle Tennessee State. He was raised up in up over in Marietta, Georgia, and has just stayed mainly in that area. Had some time over in over at the University of Buffalo. That is a big run there by Zay Huerta. Able to get up across the first down line. Or no, sorry, Maddox Morkovsky there on that big run.
Another good play there by the Trinity offense. Able to make a big gap and really allow them to get a lot of yards.
And so, again, with Coach McCollum, he mentioned that he really wanted to come here to this program, turn the school around, and he's doing that very well with quite a few young players. This is a very young team that is still developing, and he was nothing but complimentary of everybody who has come in to really help share that vision of turning Sewanee around as a program. As Hutchinson running out to the left-hand side, flag is out, and he gets drilled out of bounds on the gain of about 3 or 4, but looks like this one is going to be coming back as Ryan Back is already back at midfield after the holding call.
Quite a few holding penalties on the Trinity, O-line so far today.
That'll be something that has been an issue for Trinity a lot so far. Not just this game, but this season. That'll be their 4th penalty of the day, and they have 40 yards of penalties overall in this one. And penalties were a big problem, or have been a big problem for them pretty much all season. It is the category that they struggle with the most. As Back, he's going to uncork it deep down the right side, and incomplete, and the flags come flying. That's going to be a deep pass interference there. Alejandro Tavares trying to pull it in, but the defender never turned around. That flag is going to go on T.J. Fields, the freshman cornerback out of Chattanooga, who actually leads the team in interceptions so far this season. But was a little bit too aggressive there on that one.
It's a good call there by the refs, to be able to recognize that pass interference and, give the Trinity offense the justice on that play.
And pass interference has been something that has been a little bit hit or miss so far this season. There have been some plays that were very definitely pass interference, both for and against Trinity, that weren't called during the previous 2 games that we've had here at home, but maybe now that we're getting into conference, the officials are being a little bit more consistent with those types of calls. And so, actually, that isn't Ryan Back. That is Hondo Franklin in at quarterback. As it looks like we're seeing a little bit more rotation coming in for this Trinity offense. Franklin, the freshman out of Allen, Texas, went to Lovejoy High School and had 33 touchdowns and 3,100 yards in his senior year. He has played in a game so far this year. He went 5 for 4 against Belhaven, in which he had 39 yards and a touchdown. So Franklin, he's actually going to take off with it, moving to the right-hand side before running out of bounds at about the 32-yard line.
Good trick play there by the Trinity offense. As you saw, the Sewanee Tigers, all of them, were put on the running back, and Hondo Franklin was able to get up and get some yards out of that.
And so Franklin steps back from the offensive line and now surveys the field as Zay Huerta is over to his left-hand side. Rainy Tavares and that looks to be Sebastian Trevino are all in the field. Franklin pump fakes, now going to try and take off with it, and Franklin's going to get taken down there. A great defensive play by trying to see who that was there. I believe it was number 54, Max Grumbles. Grumbles, the junior out of Naperville, Illinois, gets another sack on the day as we get the replay up.
You're going to see on the replay, Franklin looking down the field, saw nothing, tried to scramble, and just wasn't able to get, a blocker there.
And so now we'll see what Franklin is able to do here on 4th down. Trinity going to go for it on 4th and 10. Nothing to lose. It's a throw on the right-hand side and almost intercepted. Almost taken in by Caleb C. It would have been his 2nd pick of the day. But instead is going to bring out the Trinity defense now. And looking like a majority of the defensive starters are still going to be in here, as they hope to keep Sewanee from mounting what would be a pretty big 19-point comeback here with 4:57 left to go in the 4th.
First down on the 35.
And so as we get ready here for the Sewanee offense, it's going to be a handoff to start the drive and a great stop there, as not Johnny Milo, but the other number 4 on the defense side of the ball, Cullen Betsy, the 5th-year defensive back from San Antonio, able to get that stop at the line. So now that we're seeing more rotational players coming in, do you think that Sewanee might have a chance to maybe start getting a bit more offensive momentum?
I think they could, yeah. You know, as we've seen, like this pass, for example, right here, right? You know, the Trinity defense, not necessarily that they're bad, but, you know, they're tired. You know, they're kind of easing off the brakes as they are up big and there's not much time left. But, you know, the Sewanee Tigers are going to keep pushing.
That one, a big pass out to Garrett Gray, the 5'11" wide receiver out of Austin, Texas. And now we're going to get a timeout as we have a player down on the Sewanee sideline. Trying to see who it is. Looks like it's going to be Trey Green, the junior, or the junior out of Broadview Heights, Ohio, who's played in all 4 games for Trinity so far this season, but didn't get any tackles or any stats really against center. He did have that one interception against Washington and Lee where the ball just fell out of the sky right into his hands. And hoping for the best for him as he now walks off to the Trinity sideline. And so a 4:11 left to go here, and Trinity leading by 19. Might be a good idea to go ahead and look into the future just a little bit and figure out what these two teams are going to be doing in 7 days' time. Trinity, they are going to be taking a road trip as they blocked out their schedule pretty well. They have a home and away every week, alternating, so there aren't any real big blocks. Trinity will be on the road, heading up to Memphis, Tennessee, to take on Rhodes. That's going to be another big conference game. That one will be on the 19th, as this is going to be a handoff up the middle for White. White continuing to move forward. A big collision there, stays on his feet before finally going down at about before finally going down after a gain of about 13 or 14 yards. So now Sewanee going in a bit of a hurry up here as White once again a good run up the middle up to the 30-yard line. And Sewanee not quite out of this yet, are they?
No, they're not. You know, as you just saw, 2 very good running plays. You know, big gain on the first. You're not necessarily as big as, you know, the first one on the second, but, you know, they're still getting good yards, and, you know, the Trinity defense are, you know, maybe starting to show signs of, you know, tired or starting to show holes.
And that is not something that you want to see right there. Cade Rabson down on the field. Looks like it might just be a little cramp there on his leg. Players are starting to get tired. Rabson was a starter, so he's had quite a little bit of, quite a bit of reps so far. And it is 90 degrees outside, so definitely the heat might be getting to a few of these players. But while we do have the stoppage, also going to take a look at the future for Sewanee as well. They have they have another road game coming up next weekend as they travel to a team that was picked to win the SAA this year, They travel over to Mount Berry, Georgia to take on the Berry Vikings on the 19th. Their next home game will be on the 26th against Rhodes. Trinity will then, or after the Rhodes game, Trinity will be back here at home to play Berry. So a little bit of alternation here in the conference schedule for both of these teams. That is going to be a very big game and a game that could ultimately decide the conference here unless there are any more, shock upsets in the conference, as Trinity and Berry, the two teams that have really been on top of the conference for quite a bit. After that, Trinity going to go on the road to face Hendrix to start November. And then they face the Southwestern Pirates here at home for Senior Day on November 9th. And Southwestern, of course, a team that also plays in the SCAC for all non-football sports. They're going to be traveling or going to be moving over to the SAA with Trinity next year. So, Andrew, that's going to be something that you're going to get to enjoy with the SCAC-SAA switch. As Thomas throws one over to the left-hand side, incomplete. John Cole McAdams with the strong defense there.
Good play there by the Trinity defense, able to recognize the pass and get there and make sure it was incomplete.
For Sewanee, after they have their home game against Rhodes, they actually have 3 straight, starting with Rhodes. They play Southwestern on the 2nd and then Hendrix on the 9th, as this is a run up the middle by White, pushed up to about the 10-yard line before being swallowed up by a whole host of Trinity Tigers. Both of these teams have their senior days on the 9th, as Sewanee will host Hendrix for their final home game of the year. And then they go on the road at Center to close out their season on the 16th of November. This is going to be a direct handoff or direct snap to White, who's going to get stuffed for a loss of yardage. Trinity wasn't fooled there, and they force a loss of 1 to force 4th down.
That was number 93, Elijah Gonzalez, there on that play. Just showcasing that the Trinity defense might be tired, might be a little run down, but they're still ready to go, and they're not going to let them score.
And so this has been a very, very impressive defensive unit. You mentioned Gonzalez, one of the freshman defensive linemen, and that's actually a group that Coach Urban talked about during our interview, not just the defensive line, but also the freshman defensive line in particular, as 4 of them have been put on the 2 deep for this game. Of course, Gonzalez, who just had the big play, Jackson Priestmeyer, another one, as well as Azriel Ngacha and Zachary Scarborough. All of them are freshmen who are who have definitely had some impact plays throughout this game. As we have a timeout here, we are going to take a quick break here on the Trinity Tiger Network. 2:19 left to go in the 4th quarter, with Trinity leading by 19. We'll see if they're able to keep the Sewanee Tigers out of the end zone or away from a first down. As actually they're coming onto the field, so we won't be taking a break. Never mind.
As you just saw on your screen, today Trinity Tigers have 561 yards combined.
Very good offensive production from them so far today. You asked earlier if they might be able to get 600, and I said no, but after looking at this, it looks likely, depending on how much time they have left whenever they get the ball back. Thomas takes a snap. He's going to look. He's going to fire over the middle. It's going to be incomplete off of the outstretched hands there of his intended target. That one there was Paxton Haywood, the freshman tight end. And Trinity comes away with the big 4th down stop. And now with 2:15 left to go, it all falls down on just running out the clock.
Number 1, Lawrence Falke on the Trinity side almost had an interception there off that tip.
Almost a very big play there for the sophomore. Would have been his first pick. As back takes a snap, it's going to be a handoff to Hutchinson. Hutchinson actually moving around on the left side very well. He is up past the 20-yard line, up to about the 21. As the clock will hit 2 minutes. And we hit the 2-minute warning. Now we're going to take a quick little break of about a minute just to get some water. And we will be back for the final 2 minutes of this fourth quarter here from San Antonio, with Trinity leading by 19 over the University of the South. Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here. San Antonio, Texas, your host for this fantastic matchup between the Trinity University Tigers and the University of the South Tigers. As this is a run up the middle of the field that is stopped after a gain of maybe about half a yard. And Sewanee not calling their timeouts here, as the clock continues to burn down here. So on 3rd down and 1, Trinity likely going to be running this one here with Hutchison. We'll see if it's up the middle or outside the tackles, but either way, Trinity 1 first down, and that will basically ice this game. Ryan Back is back in this game. Kind of surprised to see him back out, considering that Hondo Franklin was in the drive before. As this is a good run up the middle by Winston Hutchison. He is across the first down marker and then some, and that will basically do it here. As they've gotten all they need in order to be able to kneel this one out. And with a minute to go now, just one more play will do it. Hutchison comes off, Johnny Milo coming on. And also in the Trinity backfield is Alejandro Tavares. Actually, Tavares moving now to the outside. And everybody moving into their positions here with 5 left on the play clock. Back takes a snap. It's going to be a handoff to Milo. Milo running around on the right-hand side, just trying to stay in bounds. He cuts back in, and actually now he has some space. He looks like he might go for some good distance, all the way up to a gain of about 10 for another, or close to another first down. Not sure they're going to give it to him, but everybody is clapping. Everybody is standing. The teams are moving towards the middle of the field now, and as the clock hits under 10, that will do it for this game. The Trinity University Tigers come away with a massive 45-26 victory over the University of the South. As the Sewanee Tigers fall now to 1-4 on the year, as you get the replays from this second half. Andrew, what did you see from this team here today?
I saw an incredibly good Trinity Tiger team, offensively and defensively. But I think the story of the game today was defense. As they were able to stop, anything that Sewanee was having. And, Sewanee did get a couple big chunk plays here and there. But, overall, they weren't really get anything started.
The Trinity defense absolutely suffocating all day long against this Sewanee team. But also, Sewanee with a few explosive plays of their own. They really showed a lot of fight, and absolutely massive credit not only to them, but also to Coach McCollum. This was a fantastic game, and a game that we were kind of expecting to be kind of an uncharacteristically good one, I think, because most of these teams were very evenly matched on paper coming into this one. Maybe Trinity playing a bit below expectations. Sewanee maybe playing above expectations. And overall, this was just a fantastic game to watch, both offensively and defensively. Lots of scores for Trinity, of course, that big 45-point total. They completely blew their average points per game out of the water. But also, the defense, once again, continuing to just lay down the hurt every single play that Sewanee tried to run, and you can see it right there in the total stat line, only 88 yards rushing compared to Trinity's 300.
I think all in all today, though, the offense, hats off to them. They're able to put up 45. They were 11 yards, shy of 600, right? We almost hit that number and, totally, dominated all the way through. A lot of big plays, a lot of, things are starting to click, and I think that's something we're going to keep seeing for the rest of the season.
And the crazy part is they did that having 3.5 minutes less time of possession than Sewanee as well. That is just incredibly impressive, and overall just an incredibly impressive day from this Tiger squad. You really can't ask for much more than a win like this, can you?
No, you cannot. Total offense, and defense domination, and they came together. And when they come together, as we saw, 45 points. That's big numbers right there.
And so Trinity, they will walk off the field now 3-2 on the year, 1-1 in conference, and 2-1 here at home. They will hope to continue their momentum whenever they go on the road, 2 roads, over in Memphis, Tennessee next week, before coming back here in 2 weeks' time to take on Barry. Meanwhile, for Sewanee, they will be traveling over to Barry next week over in Mount Berry, Georgia, before finally heading back to Sewanee, Tennessee for their first home game in a month whenever they take on the Rhodes Lynx. But for everybody here at Tiger Network, of course, Andrew Thomas joining me up in the booth as always. Also a massive, massive thank you to former Trinity quarterback Tucker Horn for coming on during halftime. If you missed that, make sure to rewind and watch that. It was an awesome chance to interview him. But, of course, for everybody at Tiger Network, everybody in the control room, everybody down on the field, everybody above us working the cameras, thank you all for watching. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, and we definitely wouldn't do this without you. And you all make it so, so worthwhile. So, once again, we will be back here at the football field on October 26th, taking on Barry. Make sure not to miss that one. It's going to be a very big game for conference implications. And as Trinity walks out the field with that 45-26 victory, we too will walk out of the control room saying thank you all for watching. My name has been Caleb Breed, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.